Certainly not claiming to be any sort of expert at all, but I did learn a few things during my first season, and one of those is that tackle and equipment is really important. There are certain things that you just can't dispense with, i.e. a good wading stick. Now, I'm a tight arse, and I looked at wading sticks online, and they go up to like £200, and I thought, you know what it is, that's a hell of a lot of money to buy, like to pay for a stick. So I bought this one. It's a walking pole. It was 20 quid, and you know, on the surface it seems exactly the same as wading sticks. However, what I did learn was that wading sticks are weighted at the bottom. Now when I used this thing, it always flapped around and floated off downstream, which I found most annoying. So instead of buying a proper wading stick, I'm going to convert this one. Yeah, I've got some lead ballast, and I'm going to use epoxy resin just to fill up the bottom part of the stick with that. And then this is a 4-piece stick, obviously with an elasticated cord in the middle to keep it together. So what I'm going to do is dispense with the elasticated cord, fill up maybe about that far, up to about there with ballast, so that it's weighted at the bottom and doesn't float off. And then I'm going to use epoxy resin to seal it in place. And then I'm also going to make sure that all of these joints are stuck, and seal these with epoxy as well, so that the stick becomes a one-piece unit. So when I stick it into the ground, I can pull it out again. So I know a lot of people like to have like a rubber stopper or a ferrule in the bottom of the stick. But this is going to also serve to me as a camera mount as well. So I'm going to stick a mount on the top for my GoPro, and then hopefully I'll be able to stab this into the ground. Then, because it's all one piece, when I come to pull it up again, it's not just going to pull into its 4 different sections. So let's convert this, save a few quid. It's already much heavier. So this ballast I bought as ballast for model sailboats off of eBay, and I think it was about £6. No, it wasn't, it was less actually, it was £3 something. So that represents pretty good value. So a £23 something wading stick is a lot more easy to swallow for me than a £100 to £200 model. Yeah, that's better. That's getting all the way down to the bottom now, so it's feeling way heavier. Oh, that's really heavy now. That's it full. I've drilled a couple of holes in this GoPro mount. I'm just going to screw it and glue it. That's nice. So that's the wading stick sorted out. Now it's time to sort the net out. Some of you may recognise Old Faithful here, the old butterfly net, the salmon magnet. Now I'm not getting rid of this because it's clearly a very lucky net, but I did obviously replace it because it was too small. I agonised over which one to go for, and eventually I came up with this. So this is a Snowbee Ranger. Now it's nice and big. It's got a good long extendable handle, and it's got a rubber mesh. Certainly a lot more salmon capacity in this net than in my old net. Now the only issue that I do have with it is that if I was to weigh a fish, so I can't imagine myself like having a fish in this and holding it up that way, because you know, any sort of big fish in there, that's not going to be ideal. So what I thought I'd do, I'd make like a string cradle over the top so that I can attach points here, here and here, and then lift it up that way. On that theme, I got myself a set of scales because, you know, I did catch that big brownie last year and I didn't weigh it. Now the reason I didn't weigh it was not because I didn't have scales with me. I actually had a pair of cheap digital scales, but they didn't work. So instead of fanning around with digital things, I've gone for a pair of spring balance scales. So these go up to £50 or £60. So it's no, they don't. They go up to a maximum of £33. Well, I'm just going to not have to catch any salmon over £33. I'll try my best. And on the theme of my personal safety, I picked this up. So I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of fishing vests. In fact, I do equate fishing vests and brown tinted lensed glasses as being a bit noncy. So it's not a look that I was really hoping to go for. However, there's loads of places and times that I fished last year that really I should have been wearing a life jacket, and because I fish on my own most of the time, I would feel a lot safer whilst wearing a life jacket. However, I mean, it's hard enough not to fish like Mr. Bean anyway when you've got lines and nets and rods and wading staffs and so many different potential snags. So I thought like a traditional life jacket, even if it's like quite a discreet one, it's just going to end up getting snagged and caught up on line all the time. So I went for this. I thought I could do away with my sling pack and just wear this. So this is a life jacket inside of a fly vest, which is quite a good idea. There was on the market, there was a wading jacket made by England's, which also had a built-in life preserver, and I would have gone for that, but I couldn't get one. They're not available anymore. So this, as far as I'm aware, this is the only product on the market at the moment, which is a life jacket stroke fishing vest, and it's an airflow, don't know actually what it's called, airflow fishing vest. But it's decent enough. It's got like loads of useful pockets, and I'm going to streamline my game. So obviously net on the back. It's even got a pocket for scales and sunglasses, which is handy, and then plenty of room for fly boxes in as well. So I do look a bit like I'm on security patrol when I'm wearing it. I kind of look like a police officer on riot duty. But for the streamlining and the mobility, I think it's going to be pretty good. So we'll put that aside, and that's going to give me a sense of security whilst wading in places where maybe I shouldn't be quite wading. And then waders. This is my third season of these waders, and they're holding up pretty well, to be honest. They did have a couple of patches that I've put on the knees, and I'm probably going to put some of this, which is aviation gasket seal. Now this is what I used to put the patches on, and it's worked really well, especially on the neoprene foot. So I think my wading boots have been a bit big for me, and what's happened is they've rubbed the back of my of the neoprene part of my waders. Now what I did, I put some of this aviation gasket on and then just a little patch over the top, and it's worked exceptionally well. That was worn all the way through, and I thought these were going to be a write-off as a result. But with that, it seems that I might get a bit more life out of them. I'm going to put some of the gasket seal on the inside seam around the crotch, because you do get a bit of slight weepage. So we'll patch them up, and like I say, hopefully get another year out of them. And then on wading boots front, well, I've sewed these back up, and I've sealed them up with Sikaflex, which is like a marine sealant, which is the most sticky substance I've ever come across. So hopefully get another year out of the boots themselves. Now the soles, I did notice at the end of the year I wasn't getting much traction at all. Now I've lost a few of my studs that I screwed into them. I used the tungsten studs this time round, and I've lost some of those, but it's not that, it's the actual grip, if you can see on the bottom of the boots themselves. And this all came off in like last year. So I've managed to wear the rubber off the bottom of the boots, so that's no good. These are boots though with you can change the soles, so you twist this off, and then it came with a felt sole and what they call a Wade Tech sole, which is like a plastic ridged affair, which I'm not entirely so keen on. I do a lot of walking on grass and stuff, that's why I've been hesitant to use the felt soles, but since I'm just trying to get another year out of them, or probably not even that, it might not even last the whole season before they fall to bits, I thought I'll just buy some more weirder studs. I'll try the felt soles, and I'll put loads of studs around the outside, and hopefully they'll do okay. I didn't buy the tungsten carbide expensive studs this time. I just went for some steel ones, because if I'm going to lose them anyway, and I glued them in as well. I didn't just screw them in, I screwed them and glued them, and I've still lost a few. So we'll put some of those into the felt soles, and then extend the life of the boots a little bit, which I'm all for, because I'm not really into buying gear. Like, I mean, this is one thing. When I started salmon fishing, I think like everybody else, you start off with budget tackle, but there are just so many things that you need. You need waders, you need boots, you need a net, and it can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. I'd rather spend my money on day tickets for salmon, to be honest. Something else that I noticed last year, now I don't wear a wading jacket, primarily because wading jackets are like 500 quid for a decent wading jacket, and I'm just not paying that much. So most of the time, my favourite outdoor jacket in the world is a Rab Valiance, and it's basically a duck down jacket with quite a tough outer surface. It's like quite a durable material, which you don't normally get on down jackets. So I find that that's just, for the weight to warmth ratio, it's the best jacket I've ever come across, and it's ideal for fishing. Now obviously it's not a wading jacket, so it doesn't have sealed cuffs, which can be a problem when you catch a fish, because I noticed last year there were times, I mean, when you catch a fish, you're not really thinking, it's so exciting and you're just so in the moment. I often just plunge my arms into the freezing water, which is stupid, because it means then you've got wet cuffs for the rest of the day. So I picked these up. They're like neoprene cuffs basically, so I can wear them over the top of my over my sleeves, and then therefore I can plunge my hand into the water and not get wet, and they should keep my wrists nice and warm too. The 1st of February in my eyes is winter, and I'm going to be out there a lot chasing silver this year. So in preparation for that, and because I'm not a big fan of the cold, in fact I flipping hate the cold, so I've ordered some merino wool fingerless gloves, and then also a box of like surgeon's nitrite gloves to wear over the top. I got this idea of a salmon form. So basically you wear your latex gloves over the top of some merino wool gloves, and that keeps you obviously warm and dry, and to me that seemed like a really good idea. I also invested in basically like an insulated onesie, like an underwader type of garment, that was on sale on one of the large fishing tackle websites that are online. It was pretty good. It was 60 quid, and I think that again it's going to be money well spent. Sunglasses, again, I'm reluctant to pay like, you know, between 200 and 500 pound for a pair of like fancy sunglasses to go fishing in. Chances are they're going to get scratched, they potentially might get lost, and I'm just, yeah, it's just stupid. I'm not paying that much, it's ridiculous. So I picked these up from Amazon, which is what I've just done in the past. I just bought cheap sunglasses. I think they're about 30 quid. Now they're photochromic, which should help with the night time, because I do sometimes, I must admit, if I'm fishing in the dark, I don't carry a pair of like clear safety glasses with me, which is what I probably should, well no, which is what I should do, because you should never really fish without eye protection. It's crazy. It's, you know, can you imagine getting a fly in your eye, how unpleasant that would be. I've had a fly in the lug and that was no sweat, but a fly in the eyeball I think would be a major problem. So yeah, so hopefully these I'll be able to wear these into the evening and still see. So Father Christmas bought me this Hardy reel. It's like the ultralight disc drag reel, so it's basically very, very light, and it's got a really strong seal disc drag on it. So we'll get that and use that on the switch rod. So it was my dad that got me this, and ironically enough, he bought me this on the day before I bought myself a reel. So I bought myself the Hardy Cascapedia to match my Hardy ultralight rod, which is what this, I mean technically this is the reel to go on that rod, but I like the look of the Cascapedia better. So anyway, my dad didn't know that I'd bought a reel, and he bought me this for Christmas. So anyway, it'll be nice to use on the switch rod. On the subject of my Cascapedia, apologies if ever anybody's ever sent me like a question in a comment underneath the videos. For some peculiar reason, I don't have the YouTube app on my phone. I try not to have it on there, to be honest. So when I do access YouTube to check the messages and stuff, I just go through the mobile web page, and sometimes there's a bit of a glitch in there, and there's questions or comments that have been made, and often they contain like direct questions to me, and for whatever reason when I click on them they just disappear. So apologies if you've sent me a question and I've ignored you. I haven't done it on purpose, it's just a glitch in the system. But there was somebody who was asking me how I find the Cascapedia, and to be honest, I don't know. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm looking forward to catching a fish on it. I've used it about 3 times before the end of the season, and it makes a lovely noise, and it seems like a beautiful balanced reel, but I'm yet to catch a fish on it, so I guess we'll just have to hope for the best. It would certainly be fantastic to catch a tine springer on it and hear it scream. So that's what my fingers are crossed for. And then on the theme of the tine, I was getting very short of flies last year, very short of flies indeed. And to the point where I mentioned in one of my videos at the end of the season I was getting low on flies, and I want to thank Scotty, who fishes the tine and the weir, because Scotty has tied me up a box of lovely flies. So he's basically given me a really good selection, so thanks very much, mate, much appreciated. So we've got some flies he recommends for those 2 rivers. Now he's a big sea trout guy, so some of them are like some sea trout flies, which I'm looking forward to using, because I'm going to be hopefully chasing the sea trout hard this year. So he's tied me some snake flies, look. Gurglers, which I assume these things are, which seems to be like some sort of foam muddler for surface fishing. So I've got a good selection of those, and then he's got me some nice like blue and silver tubes here for the sea trout. And then just a nice selection of different flies to try. So yeah, once again, thanks very much appreciated, and hopefully these will do the business on those 2 rivers this year. I also got myself a couple of flies. So I got myself some tine toucans tied on size 8s and 10s. I also got myself some woolly gun monkey flies for those running spring fish, so hopefully they'll do the business. And then because I was run out of Red Francis, and they did so well for me last year, the Red Francis, got myself a few of those. So that's it, that's all the gear I need, I reckon.